What if I told you there is more to air travel than cramped up seats, random delays, and crying babies? Well, in this video, we're going to explore the behind the scenes secrets that these airlines don't want you to know about. But make sure to stick till the end of the video because the number one secret might make you cancel your next flight. Okay, that was a little extreme, but you get the point, right? Anyway, without wasting any more of your time, let's get this video started. I guess it doesn't come as a shock that the first secret on our list is that the food served on the plane is not good food. But just how much did you know about the meals that come in those little containers? Did you know that all in-flight meals aren't made on the flight? They are made in industrial kitchens not too far from the airport, way before it's delivered to you on your tray table, which, for your information, is only wiped down once a day. The food is then frozen at about 5 degrees Celsius, and can then be stored for up to 5 days before breaching international food hygiene standards. Can you imagine eating 5-day-old food? Yuck, right? Did you also know that the pilot and the co-pilot are not allowed to order the same meal even though it came from the same menu for safety reasons? Well, if you're like me, then all this talk about food is probably making you hungry, but stick around because the next secret on our list is going to leave you jaw-dropped. Now, if you happen to be a frequent flyer, then you must have gotten accustomed to switching off your devices when you get on the plane, or at least putting them on airplane mode. Because, well, nobody wants to bring the plane down in flames, right? But did you know that your smartphone can't actually crash a plane? Yep, you heard right. Electronic carry-on devices like your laptop or smartphone aren't capable of crashing a plane. So what brought about this myth? Well, to answer that, we'd need to go back in time to the year 1991. The Federal Communication Commission banned phone calls on planes when the privileged few that had cell phones were carrying around things that kind of looked like weapons, because at the time they believed that radio waves emitted from a cell phone could interfere with more important radio transmissions, like the ones between the air traffic controller and the pilots, so that the plane could avoid little obstacles like mountains or other planes. With that said, modern avionics resist interference much better than they used to. So why are we not allowed to make a cheeky call on the flight in this age of in-flight Wi-Fi? Well, no one knows for sure. If this secret dropped your jaw, then hang on tight to your seat because the next series of secrets are real eye-openers. Some people usually get pretty worked up about seat allocations while preparing for an upcoming trip. And sometimes people also take some pretty drastic steps to ensure maximum comfort, like avoiding babies and the horror that is the middle seat. But no one really questions where the safest seat on a plane is. Research has shown that despite the extra legroom, comfier seats, and champagne, the first class is actually the last place you want to be in the case of an actual emergency. In 2012, scientists crashed a Boeing 737 on purpose and discovered that none of the crash dummies positioned in the first class would have survived in a real-life scenario. So much for an overpriced seat. The truth is, those sitting on the safest seat on the plane are the flight attendants because they sit on back-facing seats at the rear of the plane, which provide much more back and neck support. So why don't the rest of the seats on board face backwards too? That's probably the million-dollar question on everybody's mind, and I guess the answer isn't too far-fetched. They simply cost more to install because they are heavier and they increase fuel consumption. But there's no reason to be terrified on your next flight because the odds of a plane crash are minimal. So go on then and enjoy your extra legroom in first class. Working on an aircraft can be a really stressful job with the long and irregular hours, entitled passengers, and multitasking requirements, especially when you're the pilot of the plane. It shouldn't be a shock then that in a survey of 500 pilots, half agreed that their ability to fly was halted by lack of sleep, at least once a month, while in another study, 43% to 54% of UK, Swedish, and Norwegian pilots admitted to actually falling asleep while flying. Sorry, what now? You heard that right. But don't panic just yet. There's a solution fitted to every plane called the autopilot that is able to take over the smooth flying of the aircraft. Except for the 40% of pilots that reportedly admitted to the autopilot feature being inactive, I guess. Sleeping on the job is quite a normal thing for both pilots and flight attendants. They have sleeping quarters so they can sneak off and get much needed rest during long flights. Did you know that locking the bathroom on an airplane is just a little more than an illusion? Well, allow me to explain. As with everything on board, the toilet must be accessible to the cabin crew in case of a sudden emergency. So the locking system has a secret switch or latch under the lavatory sign that can disengage the lock and allow the cabin crew to open the door if someone is stuck inside or passes out. While popping to use the toilet is something a few of us can do without during a lengthy flight, we still sometimes catch ourselves gearing through the aisle, waiting for the seatbelt lights to turn green for a little bathroom break. However, you don't need to have any fear of intruders when you take a little sneaky trip to the toilet, as this mechanism can only be used by the cabin crew during cases of emergencies. Flying low cost often meant that in-flight refreshments came at a price, and a very healthy price at that. For people who don't want to pay exorbitant amounts during flights, the temptation to quench our thirst may lead some to consider drinking the tap water on the plane, which is literally the worst idea ever. But seriously, avoid the tap water on the plane at all costs. Get a bottle instead, because airplane tap water is stored in onboard tanks that house the liquid on the plane. The tanks are often stored without cleaning for long periods of time, leading to a buildup of bacteria in their stagnant water. When most airlines restock the aircraft, the water tanks are more likely to be topped up rather than being emptied first. In 2017, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, found that 12% of commercial planes in the US tested positive for fecal bacteria in their water. In case you missed that, allow me to repeat myself. There were fecal bacteria in their water. And now that we're still on the topic of water, stay away from the coffee and tea served on the plane too. Now, for the one you've been waiting for. Did you know that wherever you are in the world, there are special passenger rights for air travel? Did you also know that if your flight is delayed, canceled, or overbooked, you could get compensation of up to $600 depending on the length and severity of your disruption? And in fact, did you know that any flight in the last 3 years where you encountered any disruption might mean you could be owed big cash? Well, now you do. But hey, different airlines have different policies concerning this, so make sure you do your research before going to cash those big checks. So there you have it, 7 top secrets that airline passengers aren't being told. Now the question is, which of these secrets did you find most shocking? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!